Hello, my name is Unigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Oh, never mind. What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So, I'll tell you what, I have... wrong name. I have 3 Rosecraft blades left to show you and talk about and to use. And this is one of those 3. So, I wanted to show you a little something. If you remember, I did a video on this one. For some reason, I can't think of what the name was. But this was the CJRB. I believe it was named after a person. The Malia or something like that, I want to say. And I was talking about the grip and how right here, if it just was slanted a little bit, it might work a little better. And I want to show you something to show you what I mean. These 2 grips are really, really close in size. If we put them together, you can see literally they are super, super close in size. I mean, almost the same. The difference between this one and this one, though, is I can hold this one and I can't really hold this one. And the reason is because of this super round rear, there's no grab. So it offers a very, very bad hold for someone my size. Again, someone smaller would love it. So this one, however, even though it has that short grip, and I'll get into what it is, and I'll get into all the specs and all that, you'll notice that my hand isn't slipping off of it. It's not boom, boom, and that's because of this little slant right here. When designing knives, if you are going with a shorter or stubbier, anything under like 4 1/8, 4 1/4, if you're going under that in grip size, doing something as simple as giving it a little cant changes everything, because the pinky wants to fall into place and it literally lands right on the edge of this little lump right here, and it gives me a really good aggressive hold. You can see, you can barely see it in there, but my pinky, if I lift up, see how it's just like right on that edge? I can catch that lip when I'm in a full grip, and it's not bad. It's not bad as far as stubbier sized folders are concerned. The handle on this one is pretty good, and let's get into it and find out what it's all about. So this one is called the Little Chonk, and Chonk, I believe it was, right? Yeah, Chonk, Little Chonk. I don't know if they have a big chonk or not, but this is the Little Chonk. When I first saw this, I'm not gonna lie to you, I hated it. Oh my gosh. Scab over at Choir Boys Outdoors, you know, he was did some videos, and he was the one that sent this to me. And when I saw it in that video, first of all, it looks way smaller than it actually is. It's actually a pretty good sized knife. Can't tell, but it really is. Seeing it just on like the computer, seeing it on the web page, even though I'm staring at the measurements don't do the size justice. Now, being like a Warncliffe style blade, I've never been a fan of them. So automatically I go into it with this feeling of, ugh. I mean, it's a straight line and then it just falls down. There's not a lot of design into a design of a blade like that. However, where this one alters the game a little bit, you can see these grinds. It's a double grind. It's called a complex grind. I think they're really nice. I think they're done super, super well. And again, it's something that on paper, sitting on the screen, it's really hard to pick out how nicely done the grinds are. What else is hard to pick out is how nicely manicured this grip is. It is hand fitting. So for someone with a 2, now if my hands were bigger than they are, if my hands were 3X, which would have to be Mondo, since from here to here is almost 11 inches, my hands are big. So if my hands were bigger than they are, it might not work. So I'm telling you, from somebody with a 2XL hand size, And under, you're going to like this. Even, I would say, a small hand, even though it can fit a 2XL, you'd think, all right, well, that means it's going to suck for somebody with small hands. No, I think with a small hand, you are going to have as an appropriate grip as you would with a hand my size, which gives you an extremely big range of possible users. There's only one real knife design I think is worse than this, and it's where they cut them off, right? So it looks like there used to be a full blade and then somebody chopped it. I can't stand those. I want to get one in. I'm talking to some people I want to get in because I'd love to be proven wrong. Just because I don't like the way something looks doesn't mean it's going to work bad. And this one I didn't like the way it looks, but it looks a lot better in person. And that's just truth, right? And that's one thing with my videos and my reviews you're going to find is honesty. I'm not going to hold back. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care who sent it. I don't care who made it. If it's ugly, it's ugly. If it's not, it's not. And if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm going to be very, very upfront with you. This one fits. And while to me, it came across as really ugly, in my hand, as I look at it right now, okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. It's not as ugly as I thought it was. And that's not saying it's pretty, although from like here down, I think that's beautiful, honestly. If I'm going to be straight up honest with you, the way they did the red frame with the black G10, I think that is super nice looking. Really good. I love the fact that instead of lanyard hole, they did a strap hole. Gives you more options for lanyard carry. I really like it. I like that brushed looking satiny clip to go along with the blade instead of going black, which they could have done. But because you use like this satin hardware, that makes sense, right? So everything about this makes sense. And what they could have done is used red here. But yeah, I think if you used red thumb studs, I think it would have cheapened the look and it would have given it kind of a cartoony feel. I think every single thing that they did on this knife to bring it together was the right choice. Honestly, everything on it is the right choice. Now, this is crazy because I came into receiving this knife with very negative thoughts. Like, I'm like, oh, I am not going to like this knife. I am not, blah, blah, blah. And all I can sit here and do is praise how it's been done. This little groove right here might look like, oh, that doesn't matter. That side grip, my fingers are pressing against this little ridge here, and it feels really good. I have a nice, strong hold on the entire knife in any way I hold it. That little piece right here where they make a nice little flat end when I hold it down, my thumb feels good. It's just everywhere around this knife I'm putting my hand is making my hand happy. And I really am starting to appreciate this blade because of the grinds. The grinds are really, really nice. So while I thought that this was going to be a complete loss to me, and I almost dreaded having to do a video on it, I'm going to tell you before we get started, I like it. I do. Didn't want to. Didn't think I was going to, but I like it. Who designed this? Hawkins Rose. Hawkins Rose, I would have loved to tell you that you made a crappy looking design, but I can't, man. Can't. Gotta say, good job. So this is really nice. I think Hawkins Rose. Oh, okay. So there's a little HR. So that's Hawkins Rose little symbol right there. Yeah, that's pretty nice. This is a really sturdy feeling knife. Just between the thickness, the way it's built, the weight of it is really good. Let's get into everything here. Blade finish, stonewash. Blade steel is D2. Nice choice. Warrenclyffe, normally but I'm warming up to it. I'm Warrenclyffing up to it. Blade length is 3 inches. You have a 3.8 millimeter blade thickness. This guy, he could have got away with a nice 4 to 4.5 blade stock on this and it would have been a tank. But even with 3.8 millimeters, this thing is pretty sturdy, man. Closed length is 4 inches. Handle color is black G10. It is a liner lock. It does have a flipper and thumb studs. With that flipper working so perfectly, though, the thumb studs almost aren't even needed. Some people just like them. I kind of like them. But yeah, so overall length is 7 inches, 5.9 ounces, and we just talked about that it is Hawkins Rose designed. Nice job. So what I want to do is this is a downward cutting knife. It's a straight cut, right? This isn't something that you're going to be push cutting, and it's not a slashing weapon. It doesn't have a nice, like a curve to it or anything like that. This is straight up just cutter, downward cut, push cuts, things like that. That's where you're going to excel with a blade of this style. It's not going to be your skinning knife with a big flat blade with a, all the way to the tip. You're going to end up ripping pelt and things like that and getting stuck. So when you're buying this knife, you automatically know this is going to be an EDC cutter, just a straight up cutter. And the way it's built and just the way it looks, the way it feels in the hand, the positive grip, the jimping on top, I like it. I like it. Okay, so here's another thing I really like. On most flippers, especially, and I was just working on a design, and I left off jimping on the flipper, and I thought about it when I designed it. I was like, it doesn't really need jimping on the flipper, and it doesn't need jimping on the liner lock as long as they're well done. I didn't until just now realize this has no jimping on the liner lock and no jimping on the flipper. I just figured that out, and I have to say, from one designer to another, I get it. It's really unnecessary because it's a flipper. You're not using it for hard pressing. If you have to hard press on a flipper, then the flipper is made wrong. So it's smooth all the way around, and I really like it. I like the fact that when you look at it, it just has a really, really sense of togetherness with, like, here where it's nice and smooth, here is nice and smooth, and the only jimping is in the one place that you'll need it. There's no extra jimping. There's no jimping down here. There's no jimping around here. It's got jimping only where it's needed. Not so bad. Let's see how the tip will do. Like if we were going to do some bow hole drilling, can this be used as a, better get Mako, I just got stuck in the woods, emergency bushcrafter? And I have to say that it will make a really nice hole. Let's say you're doing some leather work or whatever, an emergency leather work, and you need a sheath, or you need to make yourself some kind of shoes or a coat because you're stuck in the wild and something happened and you landed yourself an animal, or you come across a kill or just something that died. You'll be able to use this going in nice circles to make holes in the leather, so you can take any kind of material you can find to tie it together. So that is very positive. It has a very, very nice tip. You'll notice that it is not ultra thin, so your chances of snapping the tip go away pretty fast. And that has to do with how he did the complex grind. You'll notice that the swedging doesn't go all the way down. The swedging stops here, offering you a further thickness into the tip. Really nice. So far, I'm really, really digging the way this is done. The only thing I found, and this is a used knife, is when it gets to here, it's got a bit of a wobble in it, and Scab did a, listen, I don't know if you can hear it, but Scab did a, you hear that click? Scab did a hard use video on it, and obviously the videos are going to be harder than your normal everyday use. Most people will put a knife in their pocket to carry for the day and never have to use it. So to do any kind of hard use is probably going to be like 4 months worth of real use when we do this in videos. So that said, let us take a walk outside. All right, so today, unlike the other day, we have no wind, but we also have no sun. But it still should look pretty good. It still should be able to catch a little bit of natural light. The knife is just slowly winning me over. It is. I'm gonna give it credit where credit's due, because that's my job, is to be honest. And if I'm being honest, I'm telling you that don't listen to a damn thing I said about this style and shape before, because on this one, it works. It freaking works. All right, so let's see here. Get a couple, we're gonna do a couple hard downward throws, because I wanna see if there's gonna be any collapsing in the liner, but I don't think it's going to. This liner, I'm looking at where it's placed, and it's pretty much dead center. This thing's got some crazy bite. So the liner is really nicely centered onto that blade. So I did notice that there is some rusting on it. So I'm guessing maybe Scab didn't clean it off all the way and dry it after use. But he is down in them Florida swamps, and he gets some pretty nasty humidity and a lot of wetness. So I can see why he'd be getting a little oxidation on there. That is not going to kill the knife. If you want to prevent that on your own knife, just use oil. Now, if you do get some of that, you can try and take off your thumb studs and then just lightly sand it away. Be good. There's all kinds of ways to get rid of rust, but it's really not going to kill this knife. It's not going to kill this knife. So I don't know. It is used. Let's see. Holy Moses! I barely touched myself. I'm such a freaking child. I literally barely did anything. And I've seen Scab use this, so I know this is not a brand new edge. It'd be maybe just because it's like a straight edge. That was crazy. That was crazy sharp. Let's see if it translates into the 1/2-inch nylon rope on a push cut. And it absolutely does. Bada boom, bada bing. It went straight through. That was really nice. That was something right there. All right, so let's see here. It's hard on an uneven piece, but what we're doing is, and I'll show you, because I want to let you know that it's not nothing happening. It's making really nice curls. So when you get a bunch of those and you're putting them into one spot, that's going to make fire making pretty easy. So let's see if we can't keep some here, and we'll get some nice feathers. And you can see that we're able to make swoops, and you'd be able to build a pretty good nest that way. What I was telling you about the side grip, man, the curls are falling off, but I'll try and keep some on there. But they are super tight, super tight. And again, you're not going to do this on this kind of wood. If I was going to do something like that, I would grab something closer to this and just start going from there. And then once I start getting them to catch, I would go in a circle all the way around my stick and build my nest that way. And that's what's going to make my fire making a lot easier. I would just do a whole bunch of that. And this thing is perfect for that kind of cutting. I really am enjoying and appreciating the stout nature and feel of this knife. It just feels good for such a short handle. It's giving me some really good grab. So that's very, very positive. All right, so let's see here. Golly. So that's just pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Cutting the plastic, it's always good to be able to do. And this one has no problems with that kind of action. Now, this isn't going to be your fun knife, which means you're not going to be doing all kinds of different flipping and all that. It's not made for it, clearly. So for people that are going to be saying, oh, personal protection, blah, 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 fighting knife, blah, 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 anything sharp and pointy is going to help you out. But no, that's not what it's made for. This is a straight up EDC, win the day with all kinds of good cutting. It'll get all your good cutting done. All right, so let's find us something that we can baton through here. That's a good one. And we'll see if we're going to have some collapsing. And remember, collapsing is never a deal breaker when you're talking about a locking knife, because you're causing vibrations, and vibrations do shift things. So it's about, if that did happen, it's about recovery. Is it going to be good? Did you ruin anything? Things like that. But what we want to see is the blade going to take any kind of warping or chipping or folding, anything like that. We want to see what it's going to be able to handle. And obviously it's getting the job done. It's doing exactly what it needs to do. So let's see. Nice straight blade, and it's able to get through exactly how it's needed to. I think I stopped too early. Let's finish it off. Let's finish it off. There we go. There we go. So I got no extra wiggling that wasn't there before. It's closing, it's still lined up, it's opening, it's locking, it's doing everything it's supposed to do. It holds tight. Let's see if we're going to get some accidental closing. And like I said, that liner lock is really, really well done. Really, really well done. So let's see. Man, that's going to give you some swoops. That'll give you some swoops. I got to say, it's pretty nice. It's pretty impressive as just a straight up cutting tool. It's pretty impressive. And I don't know, I think I just became a fan of this. That was completely unexpected, honestly. But I just became a fan of this. Let's see if we can't do some small swatting. Some swatting. All right, let's see if you guys are in there. That's nice. Now I know this doesn't look like much, but because it bends really easy, if your knife is not sharp, and it's wood, it's not one of those hollow ones. If your knife is not sharp, it'll just move, right? So like that. Even though the knife's sharp, that was an absolute miss hit. But you get to see what I mean. There we go. That's just a nice cut right there. Lopped it right off. I just had to get a better hold on it. The first one was me. That was a screw up. That was a bad swing. But gotta say, man, I'm in it. I'm in it so far. So let's get a nice little notch going here. And a knife like this is going to be perfect for notching. And all my bushcrafters, look at that. That's beautiful. You know the importance of a good notch, especially a square notch. It's my favorite notches, because a square notch is going to be that notch you use when you're building things and you need to put things together. It is so important to be able to do that and to be able to link two pieces of wood together. So important. So to have a knife that makes that job as easy as this one, gosh, that's nice. That's nice. Let's come over here. I'm pretty much done. I got to see what I needed to see. I can tell you straight up that this knife is definitely worth the money. It's definitely worth the buy. But I'm having fun with it. So let's just come over here. We got some of these really loose. Bam. Got one of these right here. Bam. Oh, hey. So that is a 3-inch blade. And because of its girth and thickness and weight, I'm able to generate momentum and whoop, get a nice little cut. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. This one so far was the most impressive to me, and mainly because I wasn't in my head, like I wasn't giving it a chance. I'm looking at it, I'm like, ooh, this knife. I gotta say, man, this thing won me over. This is a nice knife. It's a really nice knife. Of all the Rosecraft blades I've actually tested so far, this one might be the best using knife. I don't know. It's really nice. That Mohawk I have, I obviously, you know, I ground off the harpoon tip, and I love it. I use that knife a lot. It's really nice. But this thing is a nice hard user. It's a nice hard user. It's strong mesh. This D-bag kind of strong, man. It is. It's a tough little bugger right here. So if you're looking for a tough knife that's just a straight up no nonsense cutting tool, then I'll tell you what, this is definitely something worth looking. What's called the Little Chonk. Man, it's worth looking into. Not too shabby right there. All right, so I took enough of your time. That's it for this one. I am Donnie B all day. Until next knife.